Hello, besties! Welcome to Martini with Eddie, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea and unkirk the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV show. Yes, besties, we are gonna get into the drama because God knows that this has been the longest week ever and it's just Tuesday. I'm honestly exhausted by now. It's been a whole weekend of uh Vanderpump Rule news. It's like nonstop, like one after the other one. This Scandoval situation has taken over the Bravo universe by storm. And I got lots of updates and news coming straight from Beverly Hills and LA. Because I'm telling you, they even stopped filming Beverly Hills. So the whole entire company, the production company, start filming, like restart filming Vanderpump Rules for 2 more weeks. That's how big this whole drama with Sandoval and Rachel has gone. That the evolution was like, we need to go and start doing this. This is good for the show. But I want to start with Potomac because the season came to an end on Saturday. As we know, the whole entire mess that happened over the season finally came to an end. I was exhausted. It was a very long season of drama. And the reunion did not disappoint. I must say the reunion didn't disappoint. And I'll tell you why. Because during this reunion, everybody was ready. Kind of. At least my girls were ready. um, yeah. The season ended with what I call a 30 minutes of Robyn's 101. But did we find anything new? No. Was it important to be shown? No. I'm still wondering why even waste our time as viewers showing those unseen quote unquote. I don't know, you guys. I felt like I knew the information that was given during those 30 minutes. There was no new resolution. That it was there was no new information. Everything that was said during the 30 minutes we already knew. During the reunion, though, it begins with Jacqueline and Mia trying to prove who was lying or who was not lying or who was the CEO of the company. Allegedly, Jacqueline had received the proof that that Mia was not the CEO of that company. It was Papa G. And Wendy was living for every single moment. The moment that Jacqueline said, "You were never the CEO," the camera pans to Wendy as she grabs Ashley's arm and she just gives this face like, "Oh my gosh, there she is, the CEO." I'm kind of disappointed with Mia's box of receipts. That sparkle box, she called it Pandora's box. But there was not one receipt out of that Pandora's box. It was more like a shoe box. The one that you toss in the garbage when you're done, opening the shoes and stuff. You just toss it in the garbage because you don't use it anymore. That's how I feel about this Pandora's box. They have been trying to emulate Monique binder of receipts, but nobody has done it like she did. That binder is iconic. I know Wendy tried it last season with those ginormous printout of receipts that fell flat. Mia this time, she didn't bring anything. I feel like she only had like her like grocery list in there. She was pretending that she had received. It was absolutely nothing in that box. Like, if you are gonna take the time to get somebody to bedazzle a box, at least have something important to show. You didn't need all this like theatrical, you know, show that she put on to bring that box out. I think it was a waste of time. I think it's a waste of energy. There was absolutely nothing in that box but a paper with a text message that didn't prove anything after all. It was um, uneventful. I think Aaron sent a message right now. It explains everything about this box. Mia's box was pretty but empty. Yes. Just like Mia's season performance. Mia's season performance was pretty but empty. One of my favorite moments was when Jacqueline was leaving the stage, and Wendy was like, "Can you please forward me all these receipts?" You know that Wendy is keeping track. She probably has a folder, a file in her computer with every single receipt that she has on Mia, because we know that she's not letting this go, as she should. She shouldn't let this go. She should definitely keep all the receipts because are necessary. One of the funniest moments was when Cherise came to the stage too. I don't know, is there's any Cherise fan on right now? If you are, please leave a comment. I want to say hello to you and ask you why. Why are you a Cherise fan? I still don't get it. She's been trying so hard to get back on the show. I know she was invited, but somebody in the cast was on Andy's ear to bring her to the show. Even Karen said it on Watch What Happened Live. She said, like, yeah, I know she was on the show and she was invited, but who asked you to bring her? And we know the answer. We know that the Green Eye Bandits were behind this whole Cherise, situation. Karen was so unimpressed and so unbothered that she pulled out a nail filer and she started filing her like her nails right in the spot. She's like, I'm not giving these women the time of the day. Cherise was just trying to make a point that she came on the show because she was invited and because she didn't have any problem with Karen and anything. But I mean, we know the part of the issue between Karen and Cherise come from the fact that it seems like Cherise's friendship, it was always with a motive. The fact that Karen told her not to share any details of her mom's funeral and she still wanted to talk about it seems to me very calculated. She's trying to stir the pot. I'm actually kind of curious, like Hen Liz here. Hello, Hen Liz. Not a Cherise fan, but waiting on her response after what Katie Ross said. I just want Katie to be fine. We all know that she's going through some personal issues. It has been very public that she has, struggled with mental health, and she's been trying really hard to get back on the show, but she hasn't hold back lately on her tweets. I'm trying to take it for what it is. Maybe she's trying to get on the show, but I kind of want to know if it was true what she said. I mean, I personally don't care if, two ladies do the deeds in the bedroom. I don't care. It's not my business. It's okay. Have a good time. I'm all for it. Have a piece of the cookie. I'm cool with that. What I'm not cool with is like having people on the show that try really hard to get people's secrets and to put them out, but then they have their own skeletons in the closet that they don't speak on. This is my main issue with Robyn this season. that I'm so happy that it ended, because God knows that I was exhausted with the amount of lies that that she said to protect Juan this whole entire time. I don't care if she got married, good for them. That was part of like her storyline, what she wanted to portray this season. But I'm not interested on her wedding as much as I'm interested on her being honest with the viewers and her castmates, because she is really quick on trying to get people to talk. But when it comes down to saying and dealing with her own home issues, she has found ways to keep and gatekeep the information that we all need. And she used a really freaking dumb excuse when Andy asked her why she didn't share anything. And she said, "Oh, I was waiting for Karen to ask the question." I'm like, that's not up to Karen. And Karen was the one who was telling everybody that Juan had an affair. It might not be the same one. Based on the description that she was given, it seems to be somebody in that area. But we know that the person that Juan was DMing with is somebody from Canada that came down to America when the pandemic started to like fade out and the regulations started to like being lifted. She made her way into come down here to the US, and Juan, being the good person, quote unquote, he went and started to pay her hotel room. I'm like, I mean, we're not kids here. We're not teenagers. We know what happened. Even teenagers know what's happening in a hotel room with two adults and DMing on Instagram and stuff. That whole story is so sus. That is the weird story, and the fact that Robyn kept saying that Juan only did it because he's a nice person and that she didn't read the DMs. I mean, you're gonna tell me that you had the chance to read some DMs you didn't? That sounds very strange. One of the fights that I definitely was living for was between Candace and Giselle. And I want to tell you why. I think when Giselle put out this whole story about Chris, she was really trying to aim for him. He was really trying, you know, she was really trying to, hurt Candace and Chris's reputation and family. Did she do it for with the show? Maybe. I I'm trying to be as Switzerland in this case for one reason. I love Candace and I really like Chris. I met them, they're really good people, and I don't think that Chris's intentions with Giselle were more than just having a conversation, and he was very he kept it very polite, and maybe Giselle felt in some kind of way. But I'm gonna try to stay as Switzerland as possible on here until I explain why I think Giselle fucked up. Giselle, Giselle. I mean, I can understand that she felt in some kind of way, but the way that she said it on camera, if production didn't have receipts, I'm 100% sure that she would have gone with the story that he was being inappropriate in that room, because she started the whole thing. But then she allowed other people to pile on. So her story came out as, oh, if somebody else felt that way, my feelings have been validated, and he was inappropriate. That's what she was looking for. Because every time that the camera was rolling and she was in a setting, in a group setting, the conversation wasn't just about her feelings, and that's what that's what Candace was trying to set to her this whole entire time. That yeah, you felt some kind of way. It's okay that you felt that way, but you fed every single story with more lies. So Chris will look bad. And we know that that last episode was really explosive when it comes down to this conversation because Chris was on the stage. This on this episode we get to see the husbands, and as usual, Giselle and Robyn have nobody to hug on the stage, as usual. And that to me is telling that maybe deep inside there is some sort of jealousy when it comes to marriage and success in their marriage. Because it's very interesting how the targets this season where Candace's marriage, I'm sorry, Candace's marriage, Wendy's marriage, and Karen's marriage has always been a target, but Cherise was leading the whole entire accusations of Karen being, you know, having affairs outside the marriage or calling her some kind of way and alluding at Ray being a pimp. That was all Cherise's work this season. And to be honest, I want them to do more. I want these ladies to be more open about their own lives, especially Giselle. And I had said it before, I'm not a Giselle fan, but the cast, as a cast, to me, brings it. I just wish Giselle was more open about her own life. She had that issue with her vagina. I can't say the word uterus. I still can't say it. So, you know, just get with me in this point. Like just write with me when I said Giselle's vagina issue. That is something that she should have shared with the world and made that her main storyline because people can identify with that. Instead, we spend like maybe 2 parts out of the 3 parts reunion talking about her allegation of how she felt about Chris in her room. And Chris was pissed. When Chris got on the stage, you can tell that he's frustrated because is he needed to explain this to his family. He needed to explain to his to the people that he worked with, putting his job in jeopardy. And he is not part of the reality TV world. He's not getting paid the same amount as the housewives, you know? So this type of conversation, like alluding to him being appropriate with a woman, that is damaging. That's extremely damaging. You know, Aaron, that was my point that I was going next. Aaron just sent this message. I felt bad for Chris, and I also appreciate how Chris, no matter what he was done to him, he still gave respect to Giselle's feelings. True. He kept repeating himself, and I think that was a great way to make sure that the viewers and Giselle herself noticed that he was paying attention, that he was um, saying, "Hey, those were your feelings. That's what you felt, and I respect that. But that was not my intention." maybe there was some miscommunication because he even said, if you told me that your makeup artist or your stylist or whatever was not in your room, I would have left. That's what he said. So I can understand why Chris was getting to the point where he even yelled at one point because Giselle was still trying to say, "You say I'm sorry, so what you did was wrong," you know. And it's different. There's a big difference. There is a big difference between feeling and doing, and it might be semantics, but somebody feeling in some kind of way is definitely different than somebody doing something to you, because that was what she was trying to say at the beginning. You know, we had a heated moment, a very heated moment, and it took Twitter by storm. And it was Candace bringing back the conversation of colorism at the end of the reunion. And I said it before last week, I'm not gonna touch that topic. I just want to mention it so you guys know that that was also part of the reunion. All I'm going to say is, as a Hispanic man myself, I understand the concept of colorism, but I'm not going to equate my experience with the black experience. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put my 2 cents in a conversation that is not part of my community. But points were made, either you agree or not. There were some points that if you know about colorism in within your own ethnic group, you can tell what Candace was trying to say. And that's how I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna get into it. If you are listening or watching, I would like to hear your opinion, especially if you're a black woman. I just want to listen to your opinions. I'm not gonna put my 2 cents. I'm not here to learn. I'm not here to be taught, because I think a lot of people think um, that they need to, like, ask other people to teach them about it. No, this is not the place. If you want to share your opinion, your experience, that's a different story. And if you share your experience, I'm here to listen. And that's on that topic. The reunion then ended with the 30-minute re one-on-one with Andy. It was definitely not. I was disappointed, not only on Robyn, because she was trying to make up excuses that didn't make any sense, but also about how much these 30 minutes were hyped up by you know the network, and it just was a lot of nothing. I want to end this segment with by saying that the MVPs of the reunion were Candace and Wendy. They were ready, they were prepared, they were dragging people left and right. They knew that they need to come on an offense, defense strategy, and they deliver. I'm so happy that they said what they needed to. They said what needed to be said, and Candace was, straightforward. Yeah, sometimes Candace can come off as, a little much, but she she needed to. Her family was put in this long journey of having to explain themselves every single time, and that must be really exhausting. I just want Bravo to, like, next time that they promise some kind of one-on-one with some exclusive information, is an actual exclusive information, not something that I already knew. Disappointing. Let's talk about Summer House real quick, because Summer House, I feel like I really like this show, you guys. I'm a big fan of Summer House. My biggest issue right now with Summer House is the fact that some of those, like, original cast members, or the ones that are like in their mid 30s going into 40s, I feel like they have checked out, except Kyle. Kyle is always he's always in 100 no matter what, and I like Kyle. I'm just really sad about Kyle and Carl's friendship falling apart, because you can tell that they truly care for each other. I mean, it's hard to have a friend as your coworker. It's hard enough to try to maintain a line between the professional and the friendship that doesn't blur and causes issues in both fields. Kyle and Carl had a conversation. Carl was trying to explain to Kyle that, he's trying to understand what his position in the company is, that he's doing too much and not, getting the recognition for it. But then Kyle was trying to say, like, yeah, but you're not working that much. I didn't even know that you were working more than 40 hours. And it seems to me that there's a lot of miscommunication on both sides. I just wish this conversation happened, the one the start of the episode last night, happened on the first episode, happened at the beginning of the summer. Because even though there's still a lot of issues between them, and I know the main issue between Carl and Kyle right now is Carl's relationship with Lindsay. We all know that. Kyle is not a fan of Lindsay. This is nothing new. It's been happening for many seasons, and it's also quite exhausting to watch, because I can see both sides on this one. I can see why some people are annoyed by Lindsay, and I can see why Lindsay feels alienated. I just, to be honest, the whole Carl Lindsay relationship on the show, to me, is kind of annoying. At this point, they should have their own show. Like, Bravo should give Carl and Lindsay their own spin off, because they are not engaging with the group. And I understand that Carl is in his sobriety journey. He is struggling with it before, um, and now Lindsay is kind of like, I don't know. They're too codependent. That's my opinion. This is my personal opinion. I'm not trying to egg on their relationship. I mean, if they're happy, and that's the most important part. Um, but if Carl was struggling with alcohol and drugs, and he is happy in his relationship with Lindsay, and he doesn't want to engage partying out in the Hamptons, and he just wants to be with Lindsay and enjoying their relationship, maybe just leave the show, because as viewers, I feel like it's really stale. I would prefer somebody who wants to party, somebody who wants to have a good time with the group, and not make everything about them together. Like, they live together. Carl and Lindsay live together. If you are going to the Hamptons, have a good time on your own too. There's something that I cannot stand. Maybe because they are a new relationship, but I can't stand when couples can seem to function without them to being together at all times. Oh, are you going to bed? I'm going to bed too. Oh, are you going for a walk? I'm going for a walk too. I'm like, no, that codependency is not healthy, especially because they are adults. They're not teenagers. They're not in their early 20s. Carl and Lindsay under in the mid 30 and up. So I personally find that questionable. That's just my personal opinion. So don't come for me. If they are happy, I'm happy for them. We had seen them going up and downs through the whole entire time of this show for like 10 years. But Carl and Lindsay outgrew, definitely outgrew the whole show. I actually like the newbies. I'm loving Sam, even though they were saying that she speaks too much. I like her. I don't care if she talks a lot. I prefer a friend who talks a lot than a friend who said nothing. That's just my personal opinion. Once again, if I have a friend, and and let's not forget another part of this show. We need to understand that this show is supposed to be a vacation show. This is not their life 24/7 all year round. This is not their life 365 a day of the year. This is their life every weekend on a summer. And for those who are not from up north, for us the summer is only like 3 months out of 12. It's only 3 months. So it's very short. It goes real quick. So we take advantage of those 3 months of warm weather and sun to do fun stuff. That's when we go to the beach. We go up to the Hamptons. We do all the stuff like you go down the shore. So these people, what we see on TV is not the reflection of their lives. They don't drink every single day of their lives. But if we see them drinking every weekend, it's because it's the summer. That's what we do up here. You know, every summer when it comes around, you go to some kind of beach up here. You can go to the Hamptons, Long Island Beach. The gays, we go to Fire Island. Uh, there's the Jersey Shore, which I go all the time because that's where I'm from, or I grew up. Because some people got mad that I said that I'm from Jersey. I'm like, what? Because I wasn't born in Jersey. I moved to Jersey when I was 13. So I always say I'm from Jersey. I'm in my late 30s. So I grew up in Jersey. So I call myself a Jerseyan. So deal with it. So we go to the Jersey Shore, right? I would prefer somebody who is in summer mode on this show. People complain, oh, Kyle's always drunk, or they always drinking, or they are partying all the time. They must be alcoholic. I'm like, no, the premises of the show is a group of friends going away every weekend to the Hamptons to have a good time during the summer. I think that's clear. That's why it's called Summer House. So the point being is like Carl and Lindsay, who are at this stage of their life thinking, you know what? Carl's going through his sobriety journey. Lindsay wants to be there for him, which is great. That's amazing. But maybe it's a weekend in the Hampton with people who want to drink is not the best setting for them. So maybe they should pitch a new show to Bravo. I was one thing that was really happy about last night was finally we got our favorite Italian guy, the hottest guy on Bravo ever, Andrea. Andrea to me is like the hottest guy on Bravo. Period. I'm still wondering why Paige chose Craig over Andrea. I don't know. It still doesn't make any sense. But Andrea was back last night with a whole new party on his own. This time was uh everybody was dressed like with like Versace and like very Italian and all this stuff. He prepared some carbonara pasta and they were talking about sex. Finally, we had a conversation during a dinner that didn't end with somebody having a glass of wine on their chest, like last season. They were having a good time. They were sharing the secrets. Andrea said that it's all about the hook. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. And then Sam started to talk for a long time, and people said that she talks too much, and she cried. I mean, I said it before. I prefer somebody who's long-winded than somebody who can't hold a conversation. I talk a lot. I speak out of my ass all the time. I talk and talk and talk. Reason why I have a podcast. I can talk for an hour about reality TV shows. Trust me, I can have a long ass conversation about many topics. And I'm not apologizing for it. So I like the same. It's kind of the same way too. She even posted on her Instagram saying like, "Hey, I get nervous. I start talking. I'm trying to connect with people, and sometimes it might sound rude, but it's just the way that I am, and I'm working on it." And I'm here like, no, just be yourself. Express your opinion. You know, she's also a new cast member, so she wants to connect with everybody. So that's the way that people connect. Like, you just talk. They went out that night, and obviously Lindsay and Carl went to bed earlier than everybody. Kyle was looking for cookies, as he usually does. You know, Kyle and food while he drinks is the funniest stuff. Then they have a pajama party, and that's when shit went down south real quick because they decided to play a game called Stirring the Pot. I mean, if you don't want to have drama in a house, you don't play a game called Stir in the Pot because you know somebody's gonna end up crying. And this time was Amanda when Danielle said that she didn't trust her or she trusts her the least. And that triggered Amanda. I just believe that Amanda was drunk and she took it the wrong way and everybody was drunk and Kyle went off on Lindsay because he feels like Lindsay is the one, being the mastermind behind this whole entire Danielle versus everybody else because Danielle is on her side. I'm still waiting for the moment that Danielle and Lindsay have their first huge fight that ends their friendship. But we are getting some, like premonitions and little moments where you can tell that they start to question their friendship, especially Danielle, because she's starting to feel like a third wheel in the whole Carl and Lindsay relationship. It's quite annoying, to be honest, to having to deal with people in a fresh relationship as friends. If you don't have like a partner and you are always hanging out with them, at one point they're gonna start kicking you like to the side. And I think that's what's gonna, have an impact in Danielle's and Lindsay's friendship. Because she said it on the last episode. She said like I'm starting to feel like last summer it was me and Lindsay at all times. And then it was, you know, Carl, Lindsay, and I. That's what Danielle said. And then now she's like, yeah, but now I'm starting to feel like they don't want me around or like they just want to be them together. You know? That must be rough. Rough, rough, rough. And that's where the episode ended. I'm kind of curious because I know there's a lot of stuff unfolding on the summer house. We still have a lot to deal with Carl and Carl's friendship, Danielle's and Lindsay's friendship. And I kind of miss Paige last night. She was not there because she was somebody's, I don't know, somebody, I don't know. She wasn't there. Who cares? Uh, but I'm starting to feel like Summer House needs to become two shows at this point. One where it's the Summer House, where they bring young people like in their early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and that should be like the age range. So they can party all night, every day, go to bed late. Because as you get closer to your 40s, you don't have the same energy or interest on getting blasted every weekend, you know? You still do it, you still go out and have a good time, but you don't stay out until 5 in the morning. You maybe go to bed at 1. So you can see that that is making a huge uh, shift on the show. We see people, not wanting to party that late. The parties are not as fun. They don't bring that many people in. It's just them having like dinners and stuff like that, which is fun. But that shouldn't. That's not what Summer House was when it first came out. They should have a summer house show with younger people like 30s, early, I mean 20s, early 30s, and then you have a different show with the people from Summer House that kind of like outgrew the show, like Kyle, Amanda, Carl, Lindsay. They deserve a show about their lives in the city as married people, as people in relationships, as people with businesses. Like we get to see Carl and Lindsay doing whatever they do in the city, and then we see Amanda and Kyle working at Lower Boy. That's the point where they are at right now, and that should be what Bravo should be doing with this cast. Because how many summers can Kyle do from now on? Now that he's married, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to have kids, and that changes the dynamic of the show. As soon as they have kids, it's over for them. I mean, can you imagine taking a baby to the Hamptons while your parents get like wasted? That's not going to happen. I mean, no responsible parent do that, And we all know that when kids come to the world, people's priorities change. So that's that. That was Summer House. Now let's talk about what the whole entire Bravo universe is fucking going crazy with. A lot of people haven't slept. A lot of people haven't eaten. I see Bravo content creators literally saying, "Oh my gosh, this weekend has been the longest weekend of my life." It feels like a whole month had gone by since Friday, when we got the bomb that Tom Sandoval and Rachel were having an affair. Let me remind you, we're not calling Raquel anymore. We know that her name is Rachel, and we're gonna call her by her real name. So Sandoval and Rachel were having an affair for many months, and Ariana found out in the most disgusting way by seeing a video of Rachel in Sandoval's phone. So over the weekend, Bravo decided to send the production, uh, the cameras and everything, to restart filming. And oh my gosh, it seems like it got crazier over the weekend. We found out that Tom Sandoval spent some time at Rachel's apartment on Saturday night. Allegedly, it's because they were filming, and that was the point. It seems like while uh, Ariana was filming with Lisa Vanderpump, they had a segment, the two of them. Tom Sandoval was filming with Rachel at her apartment. That was an end right there. News broke out today that that scene that they were filming at Rachel's apartment ended with the first on-camera kiss by the new couple. And I'm using air quotes right here, a new couple, because I still can't digest the fact that Sandoval cheated on Ariana with Rachel. That's like going from a Maserati to like a Honda. That's like going from eating filet mignon to eat McDonald burger. Embarrassing, truly embarrassing. And on top of that, we have um, the whole entire cast doing confessionals. We saw a post from Sheena. We saw a post from James. Um, from James, we saw a post from Lala where she was getting ready. It's been a whole weekend of mess. I think the most shocking thing out of all this stuff, it's that there seems to be no remorse on the side of Tom Sandoval and Rachel. It seems to be like they are moving forward with their relationship and they see a future together. And I'm thinking, what? That's how my brain just like process every single time that I open a Bravo blog or anything like that, or any news that I get from like Page Six or TMZ. My brain has no processing power anymore because it's one after the other one. Another stuff that we found out is that um, Rachel's attorney, Rachel's lawyer, sent a cease and desist to the cast, not their attorneys, not to their lawyers, not to their the counseling, to the cast, to their personal emails. And Lala was like, she went off. She said, like, what kind of foolery, tomfoolery, and clownery is this? I mean, everybody knows if you have a lawyer, if you have a representation, you don't send the any legal paper to the person. You send the paper to the legal representation. So for the lawyer to send a cease and desist to their personal emails, that sounds to me very silly and stupid and dumb, because they're gonna send it to their legal team for them to reply. It's a waste of time, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. And that's when Lala said, like, send it to Daryl. I guess that's her lawyer. And I'm thinking, Lala has a lawyer representation, and she knows all the stuff, and I'm happy that she's going off, because really it's really stupid what they did with the whole season assist. Allegedly this happened because somebody has power, has in their power, that tape that Sandoval had on his phone. And over the weekend, we also found out that Rachel got a new PR team. And the PR team is working into twisting this whole story into making her the victim. And yes, if Sandoval recorded the finger banging video without her permission, that is a problem. But that doesn't take away the fact that this person was engaging into building a relationship with somebody who was in a relationship already. Like, if we find out for a fact that that video was recorded without her consent, we are going to say it sucks for Rachel. You are the victim of somebody who's a predator, aka Tom Sandoval. But we are not going to forget the fact that you went behind your friend's back. The person that you said it was the person who opened, her life to you. Ariana was that person who accepted Rachel into the group and was always, supporting her. And she went behind her back and fucked her boyfriend. that we're not gonna forget, because you are just mad that you got caught. You're not sorry at all. You just got mad because you got caught. Many people from the series that has been fired or whatever, it's starting to make their way back into the show. We have Kristen. She has been talking to production, and she said that she would love to have a moment with Rachel if Ariana give her the green light. And it seems like the camera people are excited for that to happen. So they are pushing for this to happen. I guess they are trying to have them back on the show. We are not going to forget why they got fired. So I hope that if they are brought back to VPR, more than just this appearance, the conversation needs to be had. And the person who was affected, aka Faith, needs to also come back to the show so they can have the conversation. That's just my opinion. We're not gonna forget what happened. But Kristen is in talk to come back to this season because they're filming. You know, they're still filming for 2 weeks. And part of the filming appears to be including Kristen talking to Rachel to put her in her place. And I want to see that. I want to see that. Because we know those girls don't play. They don't play. They come to slay. And they are going to send that poor Bambi Eye girl back to where she came from. Out of the show. And Lala is activated. And James is living for every single opportunity to drag Tom Sandoval. And I really want to fast forward this season because at the end of the day, now we know that Tom Schwartz and Rachel weren't an item. They just were pretending to be an item to cover for her escapade with Tom Sandoval. So I kind of want to fast forward. I'm not really that interested anymore because I want to go to the part that they're filming right now because that is what we want to see. And they're filming the reunion in 2 weeks. So it's gonna be fresh out of the oven. They are not waiting. Like usually they wait until like towards the end of the season. So like the feelings are still there. They watch the season. It seems like they're gonna fast forward in 2 weeks to the reunion. And I'm here for that. I truly believe that this season is going to be a bloodbath. They are going to drag Sandoval and Rachel. And I'm still questioning. Many people are saying that Rachel and Sandoval are gonna walk into the reunion holding hands and all this stuff, and they're gonna kind of like showcase their relationship to the group and kind of like be open about it. That's gonna be the first time they're gonna be open about it to the whole entire group. That's how I feel like they are going to walk on the stage. Also, they don't have anybody else supporting them besides Tom Schwartz probably, because Sheena is not going to be on their side anymore. Ariana obviously is gonna drag them both. Lala, James, who else? Nobody. They have nobody. So they have to be a strong front to survive the reunion. But I'm also wondering, is this new PR team that Rachel got is going to kind of advise her to go into the reunion to defend herself and only herself? kind of throwing Sandoval under the bus. Because over the weekend also, he said to an outlet that the reason why he didn't leave Ariana before was because she was going through depression, losing her family member, her dog, and being depressed and dealing with her mental health. And he felt bad for her because he didn't want to cause more pain. And I call that bullshit. Bullshit. Because he's weaponizing her own mental health. And we do not appreciate that. We do not do that. We're not going to pretend that we care for somebody when you are fucking the friend behind her back. So no. If anything, that made him look more like a fucking clown. Because mental health is a conversation that is very, very sensitive. So stop using that as an excuse for your misbehavior. Because that is even lower than low. I'm so upset with the way that Sandoval decided to go over this breakup. It's sad. It's upsetting. It's really disgusting. And I really hope that when the reunion comes around, either he realized that everybody hates him and he leaves the show, or I don't even know. How do we move from here as viewers? Because obviously Tom Sandoval is moving forward with his relationship. We all know that he's gonna probably start popping out everywhere with Rachel, and we have to deal with it because I mean, who are we to tell him who today or who not today? That's his business, right? That's who he wants to fuck. That's his business. But as a viewer, and we have our own opinions, and we say, how we feel, and if it's going to impact the show. How do we move from here? Because at the end of the day, if they come back to the show, obviously they are not going to be well received. I don't think that there's that many people out there supporting what they're doing. And if you are supporting what Tom Sandoval and Rachel are doing, seek help. Seek fucking help. Because there's many ways. There's many other ways to break up a relationship if you are not happy in it and if you want to move forward from it. And when people say, oh, Ariana didn't want to get married. Oh, Ariana didn't want to have kids. Oh, Ariana didn't want to have a family. And Tom did. But guess what? Tom said that he was okay with not doing any of those stuff because he was accepting Ariana's kind of like ideals. Ariana doesn't believe in institutional marriage. And just because you don't go to a church or the court or anything and sign a paper doesn't make your relationship more important than a person who's married. Because a marriage is just a piece of paper. If you are living with this person for such a long time, you are building a business, you purchase a home, you live together, that to me sounds like a marriage or a committed relationship. And like I said before, every relationship have different rules. But those rules are supposed to be respected for both partners. Because I saw many people saying, but didn't Ariana kind of fool around with Lala? And I said, yeah, because Sandoval was right there too. He was watching. So I guess That was part of their boundaries. They didn't break any rules, but going behind her back and starting a brand new ass relationship with this woman, it sure seems to have been breaking that rule, and that is called cheating. Because cheating in a relationship, we gotta make this clear. When you cheat something, it's because you are breaking a rule. And if in your partnership you are allowed to do some stuff because you both agree on doing so, you're not breaking anything. But if you go behind this person back and start breaking those rules, that's called cheating. So that's why Sandoval did cheat on Ariana with the other one. So let's make that clear. I just can't wait for more news. I'm literally scrolling through my phone right now just because there's always something new. Oh, here is something new. Jax and Brittany will be on Watch What Happened Live. Yes. Like, what the hell? It seems to me like Bravo is going to bring all the big guns and make this one to remember. I mean, they are inviting Jax and Brittany to the clubhouse. Lisa Vanderpump is going to be on the clubhouse tomorrow night after the episode, talking about the current situation with the cast, and we will be talking about it because, I mean, this scandal is just going to be dragged for the next few weeks until the reunion happen, and we see exactly what happened. I'm actually still excited. I'm going to be, looking for brand new, tips. Like I said before, Jax has been invited to Watch What Happened Live, and he's going to be appearing with Brittany. And you know that he's gonna be dragging Sandoval. I think he was just waiting for this moment. He was waiting for Sandoval's fallout. He was just waiting for Sandoval to like fuck up, for him to insert himself, and he found his way. He definitely found his way. Oh, you guys, what a fucking mess. And if you are enjoying this podcast, please go and rate my pod and subscribe. That's how our podcast survive. I'm gonna keep my eyes open. I'm gonna get all the information. I will be having another live podcast, our usual live podcast on Thursday, where we'll be talking about New Jersey, Vanderpump Rules, Lisa Vanderpump's appearance on Watch What Happened Live, and Miami. So it's gonna be a super size episode on Thursday. I'm gonna keep my eyes open for any brand new information that we get from this Scandoval. So I wanna see you guys on Thursday. So if you like this podcast, please go subscribe to my podcast. Whatever you listen to your podcast, I'm right there. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like to participate on the live chat. Every time that I go live, there's a live chat where you can send me notes, comments, questions, and I always share them on the show. I always answer to your question and share your comments and read your opinions right here live. If you want to get some extra tea, I'm also on Twitter and on Instagram as Martini with Eddie. And I also have my very own website, martiniswitheddie.com. Let me remind you, Martini with Eddie is the ultimate destination for everything Bravo and pop culture. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, besties. And you know what I say every single time that we are about to be done. Bye, besties.